Hello and welcome to the vlog. In fact, welcome to my first ever vlog. I've seen a lot of vlogs out there from narrowboat YouTubers. I thought, yeah, they're pretty good, you know. So I'll have a go and throw my bits into the mix. I'm a complete amateur at this, so bear with me. Minimum spend on equipment, so this is all just done on a phone. I'm not very tailored in this, so forgive me, and if I keep glancing this way it's because I've got all my notes, so do apologise. Anyway, this is all about why we got our boat and why we chose it, that particular type. It's my wife and I, well, Heather's my wife, and we've both got pretty stressful jobs. I'm in IT, she's in HR, so it's you know, it's not the greatest, hence why we like boating, because it's completely different and we can sort of escape and go down to 3 miles an hour doing everything. So I'm sure you'll all agree with that. Anyway, so that's that. We've had hire boats in the past. In fact, our first ever hire boat was from Cape Boats in Warwick, and we did the Warwick Ring. So our first locks were the Hat and Flight. So the crew, or the Strength as they're called apparently, they performed admirably, and they were brilliant. It was a hard week, but they did it. I put off one of my sons, but the other one was he's come back, he's forgotten all the pain, and he's now fully on board as well as. So yes, we started with that. Once we came back, I thought, you know, I quite like this, you know, it's nice. I enjoyed it. I liked all the changes in scenery. I quite like urban canal cruising, probably more than country one, but hey ho. So yeah, we did that. Then thought, you know, we could do it again, but it's quite costly. So we thought, all right, well, why don't we get a share? So that's what we did. We got a share boat, a BCBM share. And we've had several really nice outings on that, including the Llangollen, which was, we got it on a beautiful week with the weather, so that made all the difference, and that brought all the family back into canalling again, so which was good. However, although we like the share, it's really nice and all that sort of thing, we felt a little bit restricted in that obviously it's only available for the few weeks that you have it. It's assigned to you, and sod's law, that doesn't often correspond with when the weather's actually nice. And what we really wanted to do was just to have the ability to sort of disappear at weekends and that. So the next thing is probably to purchase. So big step. Spent a lot of time thinking about it, looking at all the costs, because they're pretty ongoing, but sort of at the stage of life where we thought, you know, hey, could die tomorrow, you know, well, anyone could die any time, but you get like that as you get older, but we thought, well, let's do it, why not? You know, I'd rather regret something I did do rather than something I didn't. So we thought we'd go for it. So we purchased WaterLily in the summer, which was very, very exciting. I like having projects to do. In the past, I've restored classic minis, learned how to weld, doing practical stuff, because a lot of my jobs are all theory, and you know, being IT, you don't sort of see anything tangible for your efforts. Either something works or it doesn't, so you know, which was really nice. So I did that. I've got a big sort of thing to admit in that I've never yet done a lock myself. No one else will steer, so I'm always stuck on the boat. So part of it with owning a boat was to train up everyone else to do it. So that's a slow process. Hopefully that will occur soon. Right, I'm just glancing over at my notes here, so you have to excuse me. Right, anyway, so when we were looking for a boat, we looked around for about 5 months in all, went all over the place. The pictures that you see on websites bear no resemblance to the boats that you actually walk around. Pictures don't seem to show up damp, they don't seem to show up quality of build too much, so we really wanted to visit as many boats as we could. We saw about 30 all over the place. So based on our previous experience of hires and the layout of our share boat, we had a pretty good idea of what we were looking for. What did and didn't work for us mainly. We didn't like modern looking interiors. We thought that narrowboat should be traditional and oldie worldy as such, or, you know, relatively so. So we were looking for better quality finishes. We don't like sort of the MFI type cabinets on boats. So we didn't really consider too many boats that were self-fit outs. Nothing wrong with that, it's just not something that we were interested in. The different boats we saw tended to be sort of fall into several different categories. Liverboard boats, where people were already on them, tended to be lovely inside, really nicely done up, but seemed to, you know, some seemed to neglect the engine bays, engine areas, that sort of thing. So we tended to walk away from engine bays that were just full of wires scattered everywhere and full of nappies trying to soak up water. Saw some really awful setups. Saw some really nice ones as well, but obviously they were too costly. So sort of keeping in mind our budget. We knew really from stepping onto WaterLily that was the boat we wanted. It was especially telling that we didn't give the keys back. It was at Wilton Marina, so you have the keys, you go around by yourself. We kept the keys and we were trying everything, putting all the beds out, looking in bilges, looking everywhere, just to see if there was any nasties, which were obvious to me. So after a couple of hours of that, we thought, well, let's go for it, let's do it. So this is sort of a list in what we were looking for in a boat. It's not really in any particular order. I've tried to list everything, and I've been adding to it over the last couple of weeks, hence why I've not really done anything. Right, so WaterLily's an ex-share boat, as the previous vlogs have shown, which we're quite attracted to that because although it's high mileage, it's obviously done a lot of miles, a lot of engine hours, all that sort of thing. We think it's probably been well maintained, and it looks like it has. Certainly well equipped. All the kitchen utensils, everything like that was all with it. Lots of spares for the engine, you know, Morse cables, drive belts, mooring pins. It was pretty much, you know, we put bedding on it, it was ready to go. So, which was really nice. So we didn't really have to do too much on that front. In fact, it's got better crockery than we've got at home, which is quite nice. It's got relatively good paintwork on it. There's obviously always a few suspect patches, but it's manageable. It's actually quite shiny when the sun comes out, which is quite nice. So I've identified the paint colours, so I'm pretty sure I should be able to keep on top of this as and when the time comes. Getting plans to do all that. We went for a traditional layout boat, which is the bed at the back. Now we've had several different types of hires, and our share boat was a sort of reverse layout with the bed at the front, and we prefer the traditional layout because it keeps the bed at the back so it's completely out of the way. It keeps the kitchen away from the stern, so when the kitchen was at the back, I was always coming in, going out to the engine bay, and Heather was always in the kitchen. We're sort of getting stuck on quite a regular basis there. And also with having the lounge at the front, the kitchen's open plan at the front. You can look in previous vlogs of the actual layout of that, so you can see. It's very open plan. It seems quite big and spacious, and we really like that. That really appealed to us. Right, so looking at this, it's quieter in the lounge. If we're cruising along, obviously you're a long way from the engine, so it's nice and quiet. Well, quieter anyway. It's got a U-shaped kitchen. This is quite important to us because we've had galley ones in the past, and it's just a squeeze to get past. U-shaped ones, you can sort of hide out the way and everyone else can go past you without any problems. So that's a real plus to Heather. She's really keen to have that. Lots of cupboards. So yeah, so that was good. Has an eye-level cooker. That's something that Heather really liked, so she didn't have to get on her hands and knees to see the gas is on, because we don't have gas at home, so this gas is a bit new to us, so she wanted just to be able to look sort of straight on and see that things were actually all in order and still working. So that was good. It's got a washing machine on it. Now, we weren't too fussed about that, obviously, because we're not using it for continuous cruising yet. But it's in there. It looks brand new. I don't think it's ever been used. So that's lovely. So, you know, that's something to use in the future. It all looks to be plumbed in. I've checked around the back, and it's even got its own vent out the side of the boat. So, you know, that, which is nice. It's got, these are in no particular order, by the way, so I'm going to be hopping about all over the place. It's got a stainless steel water tank, which I've seen lots of videos about people who don't have those having to go in and paint them, and that didn't seem to be the sort of job I really wanted to do. So the stainless steel tank was quite nice, quite important to be able to do that. Saw lots of different engines, and looking around, it seems to be the beta, or better, whatever, 43 and the PRM 150 seems to be like the ideal match, if you like. Lots of parts, lots of servicing available. So, you know, that was something which I was quite keen to have. So that's something that's got. I've already done a service on it, so, and that was quite easy, really. I think they're reliable. They seem to be reliable. Certainly, people seem to say that they're reliable. So we shall find out. It's got a large engine bay. So many ones I've seen full of all sorts of things that you just can't get into them. I was really keen to be able to get in, get to the side of the engine, get around the back and that, so I can sort of do a bit of maintenance, and that was quite important. So this is quite good. I can hide in there, so no one can see me, so that's great. Batteries are in the engine bay. They've got a nice sort of metal rack, so they're all on there, all nice and secured, which is nice. That's something else which we were looking for. The engine bay itself is not too rusty, and it's got drainage holes on the deck, so you know rainwater can escape. It does get into the engine bay, but not a lot. So that's something. Looking for metal flooring when you're stood on the stern rather than wood, so it's a little bit more robust. The calorifier or hot water tank, I'm not quite sure why it's called a calorifier on a canal boat, but the hot water tank is in the cabin rather than the engine bay, which we thought was quite a good idea. Sort of helps protect it from frost a little bit more. May or may not be a good thing. We went for a semi-trad. Now we've had semi-trads, cruisers and that sort of thing hired before. We didn't want traditional because there's not really enough social room on the back with 2 or 3 of us. And I don't really sort of like the look too much of cruiser sterns. They're quite exposed. So we thought we'd go for a semi-trad because it gives you a bit more protection. A bit more enclosed, and they look a bit more traditional from the side. So although you've got a bit more room, they look a bit traddy. So it seemed to be the ideal sort of mixture there. The boat has got really secure front and rear doors, which was important, especially to Heather. She's very, very keen on that. All metal bolts. There's no padlocks, nothing added that looks like it's been added to security. It's sort of secure, built in. There's no external woodwork, so it's all metal on the outside again, so that's nice and secure, and great for maintenance as well. So that's one thing. Sleeping arrangements, got 6 sleeping for 6, which is great. There's only 2 of us, possibly 3 at the moment, but if anyone wants to come along, that's nice to be able to offer it anyway. We've got a nice multi-fuel stove, which is good, so that's something which we really wanted. Right, back to the kitchen and kitchen tops. Now this is an interesting one because it's got a Formica kitchen top. And we've had wood, well, we've got wood at home, and we had wood in our share boat. And although it looks great, it's you need to be careful not to stain it. I have these little wood savers, surface savers that you put hot things on and that sort of thing. And when you've only got a small surface area, it just seems a bit OTT to get involved with that. So something practical like Formica is ideal. I mean, it's not the prettiest looking thing, but it you don't want to have to worry about that. Got a 12-volt fridge, which was nice, so that's just came with it, so we don't have to run the inverter for it, so that's nice. The freezer side of it's a little bit smaller than we would like, but that's probably just because that's a landlubber thing, but you get used to it, I think, as you start cruising. Yes, with that being 12 volts, the only thing on the boat that needs the inverter running is the light in the bathroom, the shower light, not the shower light, the shaving light, the horizontal one, and the igniter on the cooker, and that's it. So everything else is 12 volt on the boat, so which is lovely. One big thing that I really wanted to get was portholes. I really think they make the boats look really nice and older and traditional. So that was important to me, and this boat has all portholes, which is great. I feel they're more secure. We found we don't have the need to close curtains. Often when boats are moored up, if you have the larger windows, you shut your curtains to stop people peering in. Never have that. People don't seem to do that on portholes, and if you do, you just stand up and stare back. So that's good. We can replace the windows really easy. You can just take them out. So they're just bits of glass, so that's not an issue if one breaks or we need to change it. Or I'm looking at seeing if we can get double glazed ones. It's just easier to do. They just go in there. So that's that. It's 58 foot, the boat, so it's ideal sort of size, sort of almost go anywhere. I mean, there are a few restrictions, but mostly it's that. So that's that. We wanted to get a boat where we didn't have to sell and upgrade if we really fell for it all. So we thought we'd do this to start with. So we're trying to get everything we wanted. It seems to be a good living area sort of combination for 2 or 3 people. The whole boat is spray foam insulated. Again, all the research you do, I've heard that that's the best type of insulation. Whether it is or not, I have no idea, but there you go. We've got a Webasto heater to fin rads. Now, lots of people seem to have different opinions on fin rads. We like it because it goes right the way along the side of the boat. Nice and low level, keeps out the way. They don't, you don't have big radiators everywhere, and they work really well. It's going to get really hot and keep the boat really warm. So we like it, but I know there's a lot of people that have different views on that. So there's that. Now, call me odd here, but on the shower, I wanted to have a solid door rather than a curtain. We've got a curtain at home, and it just bugs me. So we've got a solid door, which is lovely. So we've got a proper cubicle. And another thing which thing to me is I'm not keen on boats that have carpet going up the sides, up to the gunnels. Makes the boat seem a bit 70s to me. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but there's probably a reason for it, but it's not something that we would consider when we were looking around. Not really fussed on the toilet side of things. I know discussing toilets seems to be the major topic of people on boats, but from a toilet point of view, you know, not too bothered. This happens to have a pump out, and it's slightly different to the pump outs we've had before because it's got a really big tank, and also it's got its own water supply for the pump out. It's like two big cubes sat together under our bed, stainless steel tanks, which is quite nice that, you know, you don't use the main water for your pump out. You've got two separate water fillers, if you like, but no, works really well. No issues with that at all. Yeah, what we didn't get on the boat, which we really liked when we were looking around, is, I'm just scrolling up here, I hope it's not too off-putting me glancing this way all the time, I do apologise. What we didn't get, we really wanted a Pullman style dinette, and the boats that had them didn't have the other things that we thought were more important, so it was one of the things we compromised on. But as it happens, you know, it worked out really well because we're quite happy with what we did get. Ideally, we'd have loved all wooden flooring. I mean, we've got wood in the kitchen, but everywhere else is carpet. I mean, it seems to be pretty good, you know, it seems to be relatively clean, and that's eventually, I hope, you know, we'll get all wood in there of some description. Would have been nice to have solar, but that's no biggie because we're not continuously cruising yet. She spends most of her time plugged into a marina, so that's not a problem. But, you know, even when we do that, then, you know, definitely that's one of the big projects which we'll do. Plus, solar's improving all the time, so the longer I leave it, the better it will be. Be nice to have had newer electrics. The inverter and charger, they're separate. They're makes I've not heard of. They work fine, you know, seem to be okay. Be lovely. They're all like nice blue Victron kit, but maybe we'll do all that even when we get solar. So we do the whole thing in one lump. I said it before. It would have been nice to have a bigger freezer, and that's one thing we were looking for. But again, you know, that's historic. Be nice to have had bow and stern covers. We don't have any covers on the front or back of the boat. Keep the rain off and that. I think they look nice when they've got them. Maybe it's something for the future. We'll see. We did like the look of granite kitchen tops that we saw, but again, you know, we didn't see a boat that had those, that had everything else. So Formica's fine. And again, it would have been nice to have been double glazed, but I think that's quite a new thing on boats. I don't think many older ones. I mean, WaterLily's from 2005, so it's quite a while ago. So it would have been nice, but hey ho. We didn't get bow lockers or seats at the bow, so which would have been really handy. It's just open, like an open space. But we'll get some collapsible seats or something for that. So yeah, that's it. So that's why we bought WaterLily, why we're into boating. I hope it's interesting. First ever vlog, so, you know, let us know what you think. I think what you're supposed to say now is if you like it, click like or whatever. Please subscribe. I really should have a list of things that I should say at the end of the video, but, you know, there it is. Hope you like it. Cheers. See you on the next vlog. Bye bye.